Greetings of grace and peace on the second Wednesday of Advent. Last week, I talked just a little bit about Advent in general and a brief orientation to the wreath, its color, its green, white pine. And as promised last week, I'm going to this week speak about the candles of the wreath. There are 4 candles that are on the perimeter of the wreath. There's a 5th candle, a white candle, that doesn't come into play till Christmas Eve or Christmas Day, and I'll talk about that in a couple of weeks. But for now, I want to talk about these 4. I should mention that there is some evidence that the Advent wreath first began use in home for family devotions. There's just as much evidence, however, that it really was appropriated from the church to home for family devotions. We don't know for sure. Either way, it has stood the test of time and has a rich history. In the home, the candles may be any color people had, but in the church they've traditionally been 3 purple and a pink. Sometimes blue is substituted for the purple. Maybe that's something I'll talk about another time. Generally, it's 3 purple and a pink. The purple representing penitence and fasting, as Advent is sometimes referenced as a mini, and that's M-I-N-I, a mini Lent, same color, purple. The first Sunday, we lit the candle of hope. Now, I want to emphasize for you that when we talk about hope here, this is not the earthly kind of hope, wishful thinking. The kind of hope we're talking about, the biblical sense of hope, is something assured. So even though we say we are hoping for the coming of Christ, we know we are waiting for the coming of Christ. And even as the Old Testament prophets and the people whom they addressed waited with hope for the coming of the Messiah, we, having now been witnesses, so to speak, of his first coming, hope with assurance for his second coming. Just a brief verse from 1 Peter chapter 1. Therefore, prepare your minds for action, discipline yourselves, set all your hope on the grace that Jesus Christ will bring you when he is revealed. Now, the second Sunday, we lit the candle of peace. When we speak of peace, we might speak of just being calm in the heart or the mind or the soul, but the peace of which we speak is not worldly peace. It's not earthly peace. You might remember what Jesus said about peace in the 14th chapter of John. Peace I leave with you, my peace I give to you. I do not give to you as the world gives. Do not let your hearts be troubled, and do not let them be afraid. So, what we're understanding here is that the peace for which we are longing and waiting is the peace that the world can't give us, doesn't know it, can't take away. We long and wait for the peace that Christ brings. Now, the third candle, which I'm not going to light, third candle is the pink one, and it is the candle of joy. Joy. Why pink instead of purple? Well, you can read 100 different reasons. Okay, maybe it's only 5 or 6, but you can read various reasons why it's pink instead of purple. But essentially it boils down to this, that it's hard to think of joy as being penitential, right? Joy is exuberant. Joy is rejoicing. And even as we wait with hope and peace in a penitential mode, we also do that with joy. That's the difference between Advent and Lent. In Lent, we wait in penitence, brooding over our mortality and our sinfulness. In Advent, we can wait with hope and peace, but we do it with joy. Just a couple of quick verses for you there. For my epistle reading this coming Sunday, rejoice always. Pray without ceasing. Give thanks in all circumstances, for this is the will in Christ Jesus for you. I might also share a couple of verses here from Philippians that you probably know. Rejoice in the Lord always. Again, I will say rejoice. Let your gentleness be known to everyone. The Lord is near. Now that leaves us with one more candle, and we're going to call that the candle of love. Right? It is the candle of love, and of course, you know, we can talk about the greatest of these is love. We know that one, right? We can talk about any number of aspects of love. Some people say, well, the candle is love because of the love Joseph had for Mary, that he did not dismiss her when he found out she was pregnant. I don't think that's what we're talking about. That's love, but it was simply the right thing to do. We might talk about the love that Mary had for her son, and that's motherly love, which is absolutely appropriate. And maybe we would talk about, certainly we would talk about the love that God has for humanity. God so loved the world that he sent his only son. But the other thing I'd like for us to remember is when in Mark chapter 12, one of the scribes asked Jesus, which commandment is first of all? Jesus answered, the first is, hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, and with all your soul, and with all your mind, and with all your strength. The second is this, you shall love your neighbor as yourself. So here we are in the season of Advent. These themes, hope, peace, joy, and love, guide us and sustain us as we await with eager longing the coming of Christ. I bid you then, wait during these weeks and the coming weeks and the coming months and the coming years as you await. Wait with hope, knowing that Christ is coming again. Wait with peace, knowing that he takes away the troubles of the world. Wait in joy, knowing the joy of your salvation, and wait in love, loving God with all that you are and loving your neighbor as yourself. Thanks for being with us this evening. I'll see you Sunday.